Welcome to Mining Now, everyone. We are going to be doing episodes for the next 9 episodes, I believe, are going to be done from PDAC, or rather our guests are going to be at PDAC. We'll be here in Vancouver. We'll be covering everything from travel to production, to mining companies that are operating around the world. So lots to cover. Our first guest, it's probably very fitting because everything is opening or open back up. We've still got a ways to go, but we were probably overdue to have a travel company on to actually walk us through some of what's been going on and how they're sort of helping things move forward. So we're going to welcome Corporate Traveler to Mining Now, and Michael Beaucage to the show. He's a senior account executive at Corporate Traveler. Hi, Michael. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you on. Like I said in the intro, it seems fitting to have sort of a travel company kick off things as our team is traveling to Toronto for PDAC and the world is sort of getting back to it. So can you just give us a quick snapshot of who Corporate Traveler is, and we'll go from there.
Hey, thank you very much. Corporate Traveler is a travel management company. We really want to open up the world for those that want to see it. We're celebrating our 40th year in business this year. Originally, we started out in the UK with a single double-decker bus. Now our main corporate head office, our global head office, is in Australia. We do roughly $22 billion in business a year. To break that down a little bit, it works out to about $3 million a day in Canada. We have clients literally all over the country with 2,500 clients and offices from coast to coast, from Halifax right straight through to Victoria. So we're here to help with any travel needs that anybody has.
And I wanted to clarify something because I didn't realize this. One of my team members said this like a week ago to me that you're actually part of Flight Centre now.
That's right. Our parent company is called Flight Centre Travel Group.
And then, okay, so sort of set it up. I guess. I mean, we're at PDAC. You're the first episode. So what are you sort of hoping to get when you come to a live event like this?
Well, it's really unique for us to come to something like this. We've got over 67 clients currently exhibiting here at the booth. And that's not to mention the hundreds of clients we have actually who are coming to see the convention itself and explore the floor. So we literally help them get here. We help them get their equipment here, anything that they could possibly need.
Have you had a chance? I mean, have you been to a couple recent, events like this?
Well, as you know, over the last little while, travel's been kind of shut down. I haven't been to any conventions. It's my first one actually in 2 years. I know across the country, we've been to 5 or 6 others in the past few months as everybody's starting to open up a little bit.
I guess what I was just going to ask is in the last, I mean, have you had just an influx, your team, your company, have you just had an influx of questions and people? I mean, the demand for you, you've probably never seen such demand, I would assume.
It is absolutely unbelievable right now. Over the past few years, it's been some pretty unprecedented times. As you're aware, the travel industry took quite the hit. The problem that we're having now is a lot of the suppliers and airports just aren't staffed up. Nobody was expecting travel to come back quite as quickly as it did. We were pretty lucky during I shouldn't say we were lucky. We were fortunate that we didn't just survive. Over the past few years, we thrived. We made the tough decisions early on, and we invested a lot of money into our own proprietary booking platform we call Melon. So we were able to anticipate what we knew was going to be coming down the pipes for us so that we'd be best positioned to take care of our clients as the influx of travel happened. It just happened to come a little quicker than anyone expected.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that system? I was on your website this morning looking at Melon, and can you tell me a bit more about it?
Oh, Melon's, it's fantastic. It's a really intuitive travel booking platform. It's not just your typical point A, point B algorithm type platform. This, you can even put in addresses specific to where you need to go. It'll pop up properties that we have relationships with, and it scrubs all of our competitors' websites as well as supplier websites to make sure that we're always having the best price put forward for you. We're able to list our Melon supplied products on there, which have value add-ons specific to Corporate Traveler customers that aren't accessible by any other travel management companies or agencies. So that's a nice piece for us to have. The reporting aspect of it is fantastic. Our executive dashboard suite that's on there is really useful. Almost any type of reporting in any format you can imagine, we can look up for you, from who's coming up to be on the road, what your carbon footprint is, how long your people are going to be, average price per hotels and cities, the whole 9 yards.
Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. First up, we have Savannah Equipment. Savannah Equipment supplies new and used mining equipment around the world, from placer to underground to ore processing plants. They have gold concentrating tables, trommels, and mineral jigs in stock now to take advantage of the high gold prices. You can visit them at savannahequipment.com, where you will find more equipment every day. We also have Petro-Canada Lubricants. HF Sinclair, which includes the Petro-Canada Lubricants brand, is a proud sponsor of Mining Now. Petro-Canada Lubricants products and services are proven to maximize equipment performance, productivity, and overall savings. From heavy-duty engine oils to hydraulic fluids, ATFs, gear oils, and greases, Petro-Canada Lubricants is committed to delivering innovative solutions that deliver value and keep businesses moving. They have dedicated technical expertise, knowledge, and know-how to help customers in the mining industry operate smoothly with improved equipment, reliability, and performance. Learn more at lubricants.petro-canada.com or contact them at 1-866-335-3369 to arrange a call with one of their technical experts. Of course, CIM, the 2022 edition of the Maintenance, Engineering, and Reliability Mine Operators Conference, or MEMO, is coming to Sudbury at Science North from September 18th to the 21st for a full in-person event. Join industry peers for 2 days of technical and keynote presentations, where you will have the opportunity to learn about many of the ways the mining industry is leveraging technology to adapt to a new world. Networking events will offer a chance to build relationships with other mining professionals. The event also includes a trade show featuring some of the industry's most dynamic companies that is not to be missed. To register, go to memo2022.cim.org. Next up, we also have Power Zone. When you need a specialized team of world-class engineers for your oil and gas pipelines, dewatering, or any fluid handling needs, you want to visit powerzone.com. In addition to their inventory of rebuilt pumps, motors, engines, they also have an amazing team to design and engineer your systems, no matter the challenge, no matter the location. Get in the zone with Power Zone. Visit them at powerzone.com. And last but not least, we've got SolarSet. Introducing the SolarSet Fold, the new foldable frame solar system brings power to your residential and commercial property and can be shipped worldwide. Like all SolarSet products, the SolarSet Fold comes turnkey, pre-assembled, and is easily transported and installed. Learn more about the SolarSet Fold and their full line of amazing solar systems at solarset.com. Now, back to the interview.
So for people now, are you still because you're a corporate, right in the name, corporate traveler, is there still that hands-on experience, or how does Melon sort of incorporate with the sort of hands-on service that some people are going to need?
So that's one of the unique pieces about corporate travelers. We're technology backed by people. So we are always making a point of having, when you book your travel, even if you're booking through the Melon platform, it's still running through a set of eyes in the background. We have dedicated travel managers who are working on each account, making sure that there's, simple things like John books his plane ticket when his actual ID says Jonathan. So I've been in the office when I've heard travel managers actually catching those and calling the client to say, hey, I've noticed that you have a different name in than what we have for your ID. So having the people backing the technology is really nice, because you've got that extra human touch. If you don't want to be booking through the platform, say you're traveling somewhere overseas, it's better to reach out to one of our agents, because that human experience and the knowledge that's there, you can't access through a program. Maybe a 3-hour layover is too long in one city. We can find one that's 2 hours, or if we leave an hour earlier, you might be able to save $400 or $500 per ticket. So there's definitely the need for travel agents, and having them back with that technology is what's putting us ahead of the rest of the group.
What about I guess it's, again, very fitting for these times, is the emergency monitoring, tracking where your people are going in and out of sites, all this sort of stuff, which is just sort of ratcheted up. It was always priority for companies, but now it's just been ratcheted up to a whole other level and in a whole other way. How much is that integrated into what you're offering?
So it can be as granular or as broad reaching as you'd like. We could easily have it so that travelers can turn tracking onto their phone. So if they are going to a little bit more volatile site, you have the visibility on where your travelers are. Or if travelers aren't comfortable with that, and you can just have an executive dashboard set up. I've got 10 people in Afghanistan and 5 people in Sierra Leone, and they can monitor that. We have a really unique program that pops up as well that lets you know of any alerts that are happening anywhere in the world. So you're always able to help your travelers at any time. They have check-in functions so that if something does happen, there's a natural disaster or something, they're able to just press a button and say, yep, I'm okay, I'm safe. We've also got different programs that we offer to our clients where if they needed to be removed or emergency evac out of a situation, that's something that we're also able to help out with.
Really? Is there sort of, I mean, just even recently, is there anything that sort of just because sometimes when you're talking about this stuff, you kind of need to put it into real world examples so people can kind of see, okay, this is what's different than, let's say, if I'm just booking through a typical airline booking site. So is there sort of anything that stands out for you as sort of being able to facilitate people's, you're not going to be able to avoid delayed travel right now. That's just a reality that we're all dealing with, but just even maybe making it a little easier for people.
So a perfect example, I was traveling just the other day, and as I was heading out on the tarmac, I'm sitting on the plane, I got my book, I've cracked it open, getting ready to start my flight. We're taxiing, and I realized we're taxiing for a really long time. I couldn't figure out why we were taxiing for so long. Next thing I know, we're pulling back up to the gate, and everybody has to deboard because there was some problem with the landing gear. I sit at the back of the plane. It's just my personal preference. I get off the plane. There's 200 people in line ahead of me at the ticket counter booth. Everybody's treating the poor airline staff a little bit rougher than they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I sat down and I called our emergency line just to see. I've never had to use it before. I wanted to get the experience. While I was on the phone, not even two people had made it through the checkup line or the line at the ticket counter, pardon me, to get on a new flight. And I was already rebooked and on the next flight. 20 minutes later, I was at the next gate. So being able to reach out and have that accessibility to help navigate some of these situations that are coming up, a lot of our travelers find really valuable. It not only lets them know that they've got somebody watching out for them and keeping an eye on them, it also has their management and leadership team knowing that I don't have to worry about my people when they're on the road. We have somebody who's got their back and is making sure that they're being taken care of.
I should have asked that question right at the very beginning of the interview, and you probably would have seen the spike come up in people signing up. What about mining specific?
Mining specific. So we, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago. You might have to excuse my reference on the time frame. There was an airline out on the West Coast. We had 100 travelers for one of our mining companies that were moving around. Unfortunately, we knew that the flight was going to be canceled. It wasn't canceled yet, but it was up and coming. We have dedicated travel managers who are specialists in rotational crew travel specific to the mining industry. They were able to take the time out. It was an all hands on deck approach. We were able to book 100 hotel rooms knowing that we were going to need them before the time actually had come up. Eventually, yes, the flight did end up getting canceled. We were able to start arranging transfers for the travelers who had the flights canceled, get them to the hotels, and have them all rebooked immediately on another charter flight for the next day to get them back on the road to minimize interruption to the operations of the mining industry or the mining company that we were working with.
So do you think when you're on a show like this talking about it, I mean, even for me, I didn't have a clear understanding of exactly where you fit into the travel system. Is it still, I mean, obviously you're out at PDAC, so you are promoting it and telling people about it, but there used to be, I mean, travel agencies, even around our office, there's still a couple. You used to see a lot of that. And then everything went streamed online and you couldn't get a hold of anybody. So you sort of, does it take a lot now to sort of understand people where you're fitting in and what you're doing?
Over the past couple of years, maybe pre-2020, we'd hear a lot of times people saying, is there any need for travel managers anymore? The travel agents going the way of the dodo. But it's never actually going to go away. People want to be able to reach out and get a hold of somebody. Right. Maybe it's a little different when you're leisure travel. You might be fine just booking something online a little bit quicker. But when you're trying to run your business and there's something happening, you want to be able to have an immediate contact that you can reach out to and get that information and get those people back on the road. I don't think travel managers are going to be going anywhere anytime soon, especially with the way the travel industry has been changing over the last couple of years. Countries have different entrance rules or requirements. There's different testings and needs of things that you need to do before you're going certain places, even just the simplicity of making sure you have the right visas if you're transiting properly. Being able to have that human touch and people being able to reach out for that human touch makes all the difference. So I don't think there's going to be any travel managers or any travel agents going anywhere anytime over the next little while.
Well, we've certainly had some fun doing our bookings, so we'll be very happy to have you. Well, you're actually going to be advertising with us, and hopefully helping us get to some places. What about the remote airlines? You kind of mentioned that earlier. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So yeah, the remote airlines are something really unique to Canada. Most countries have remote airlines. I shouldn't say just Canada, but we've got such a broad area that we have to cover in our country, and we've only
Hmm.
got a few major commercial airlines. So these commercial airlines aren't going to be flying to places like Attawapiskat or Fort Severn or anywhere up in the far north where we need to be able to reach out to places to get people up there. So we have relationships with lots of small regional airlines, um, everything from being able to charter them out to just being able to book a few seats on them. Our travel managers who are specialists with the mining industry are used to these smaller regional airlines. They know the people, they know how the bookings need to be done, how far in advance they're able to get them in, using waivers and favors to have, no shows and credits reapplied. That's something that happens. There's a lot of turnover in the mining industry. So when people are
Hmm.
flying up to the far north, being able to manage those credits with those smaller airlines, they do expire, and a lot of companies do tend to lose a lot of money on them if they're not being properly managed. When can they take those credits and put a different person's name on them? Those are the types of things that we specialize in with those smaller airlines. We have relationships with all of them across the country, so pretty much anywhere you need to get, we're going to be able to get you there.
The I wanted to kind of go back again to something you said earlier. That corporate traveler, di- I don't remember the exact words, but essentially did the steps you took the steps that you needed to take, with introducing things like Melon. But also, during again the last couple years with everything that's gone, what was that time like during the middle of it? Was it? People were still having to move around in some ways. So what was especially remote? Mining didn't shut down. That was an essential services. That was an essential service. So what was sort of your role during that time?
So my personal role was a little bit different. I'm an account executive, so I deal a lot in sales. When it comes to our travel managers and what they were able to do, some of them it was business as normal. They were still moving the clients around. They were making sure that all the requirements, entry and exit requirements. We had the Atlantic bubble, for example, knowing what people were able to go in there, what they needed to do to be able to get access to that area,
Hmm.
especially if they were coming from outside. So there was a lot of research and a lot of studying and almost daily updates on what was happening within the industry because the changes were coming so fast and so furious.
And what is it looking like in the future? Just as a snapshot for you, as a corporate traveler, what do you see? Is it like with the introduction of Melon? Is it going to is that going to continue to evolve? Are you seeing how people are using that? Is it being quite? Has you gotten quite a good response from it?
Well, we've actually been a victim of our own success with Melon. The turnaround time to get it set up was supposed to be 24 hours to 48 hours. We're currently looking at 3 to 4 weeks right now because almost all of our clients have asked to have access to Melon and to be able to use
Hmm.
it. The more people we have using it, obviously, the more data we're having. And so we're constantly making tweaks and changes to it
Right.
based on what our client needs are. There's some things coming down the road like integration of expense platforms, being able to integrate other programs in that need to be you might want to have booked through there. More detailed travel policies are going to be able to be built within the program as well. So there is a lot of changes coming down the road.
Wow.
Currently, from the people I do know that are using it, they're having an amazing experience. I was speaking with a client just the other day who was stuck, opened it up, and was able to use their chat function on it and get something rebooked through there. So they were in the airport and didn't even have to call anybody. So that was something that they really enjoyed.
It's actually nice to have some positive information coming out of the travel sector because it's been rough. And how about you? Just to wrap up the interview, how long have you been with Corporate Traveler and I guess what's kept you in an industry that some people have actually left recently, but you've got a part of an organization that is such a strong demand, and sort of what I guess what it kind of holds you in that in this travel industry.
Well, I've been with Corporate Traveler just about almost coming up on 6 years. And I got to say, it's one job where I actually truly feel like I'm helping people. I know that I'm able to save my clients time and money. I know that it's a service that they're going to be able to benefit of, and it's going to be able to keep their people safe on the road. And it's nice at the end of the day when I go home and I know that I've actually done some good and I've actually been able to help my clients and put a little bit of positivity out there in the world. Travel's exciting. It's fun. It's sexy. Everybody wants to go somewhere and everybody wants to be out exploring. And who wouldn't want to be a part of that? I mean, our company motto is opening the world for those who want to see it. And let me tell you, I want to see the world and I want everyone to see it with me.
I'm going to go back to another thing that you said. It was just a brief comment, but I just, always try to put something personal in, at least by the end of these interviews. We were talking about business and that, but you made a comment about everybody getting off the plane, and being a little short with the staff. And I was thinking even for myself when traveling is I really try to realize that the person behind the desk is not the person that is responsible for it. And I'm just sort of wondering, in your travels, have you, you've sort of seen it. Have people been pretty hard on, you can't help it if you're short staffed and you're just part of the staff, but have you seen quite a bit of it, just that sort of frustration with people?
I have recently I was in Barcelona and I ended up being stuck there overnight. And so we were at the airport 8 a.m. for our flight and they didn't end up canceling until 4 in the afternoon and then shipping everybody off to a hotel. And it was a really unique hotel. Let's just leave it at that. But everybody was pretty furious with the airlines for not knowing that they had to cancel the flight earlier. I could see a lot of people getting very angry with the ticket counter agents. And it was unfortunate. I mean, obviously the people at the ticket counter are not the ones who own the plane. If they were the ones that own the plane, I don't think they'd be sitting behind the counter. So there's a lot of frustration going on. There's a lot of staffing issues in the industry right now. Just the volume of travel has come back is pre-2020 numbers, and most of the airlines and airports are operating at 30-40% of their usual staff. So there's going to be hiccups and there's going to be layovers and delays. It's just people just need to take a moment, be patient, and know that if you're going to travel, give yourself some extra time on the road, give yourself extra time at the airport to get there, to get checked in, the whole 9 yards. Security. I was in the Ottawa airport just yesterday, and normally what I breeze through in 10 minutes, I was standing there for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So taking that time, just add the extra bit of time for yourself.
I guess pivoting back to corporate traveler, though, that must have become now a key thing, even when you're communicating to companies about that preparation part in a way that just is unprecedented. We've never had to before.
We have some of the most incredible travel managers I have ever seen in the industry. They are so they're not reactive. They're always proactive in what they're doing. I can sit in my office and I'll hear them calling saying, you know what, like, so-and-so, I noticed you haven't checked into your flight. It's 24 hours before. There's delays at the airport. I'm giving you the little nudge that you might want to reach out to them in advance, or you might want to check in advance. I hear them constantly letting our clients know, this is an international flight. We usually recommend showing up 3 hours before. I know Pearson, for example, is having a lot of issues. You might want to be there 4 hours before. And they're preemptively reaching out to our clients and properly communicating with them to know what they can expect, which is really nice because people aren't just showing up blind and not having any clue and being stuck, or potentially, normally you show up an hour before a flight and you can't even get through security that quick and you miss your flight and need to have it immediately rescheduled. So these are the things our agents are reaching out to make sure everybody understands in advance.
Well, there's two things that really stood out to me is earlier when you said about those, the small airlines, the remote ones, and also understanding the different airports, because I've certainly been in that situation where, you go to the one in Houston is going to be a completely different experience than the one at LAX. If you haven't traveled those in those airports before, you're in for a surprise.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. And that's where having technology backed by people comes in handy. If you have those questions, you have somebody you can reach out to, a corporate traveler,
right?
Especially when it comes to mining. I mean, being able to switch out for those smaller regional airlines, you have a crew of 100 people going, but suddenly 10 of them can't make it because they've caught a virus, family emergency, whatever it is. Being able to swap people in, get those names changed with those charters quickly.
Yeah.
And that's an area that some of our agents, we actually have specializing in to be able to make sure our clients are taken care of.
Again, I wish I had thought to ask that question right at the top of the interview because the name swapping out, but you had mentioned it earlier as well. Michael, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being our first guest at PDAC. I hope you have a good show. I know there's obviously going to be a lot of information that people want from you. So I'm glad you got a chance to do this before the show opened up because you'll be very busy for the next few days. Have a great show. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. And if anybody wants, our banner is going to be underneath. If you want to look at the Melon product or book anytime with any of our account executives to chat, feel free to click on it and we'll gladly reach out and have a chat with you.
Yeah, we'll have lots of links for you. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone, that is our first episode for PDAC. There'll be plenty more coming at you, so stay tuned. We'll see you on the next episode of Mining Now.